with Jennifer Hennings, and very pleased to welcome you, Jennifer, to the Expert Showcase series. We're speaking about anxiety and confidence, which affects so many people, and it's amazing that how anxiety shows up just around speaking when we speak all day, don't we?
I didn't get it. We do. We do. And I'm so glad you're doing this because this is something that I know I've struggled with a lot in the past. And, everybody, I think so many people think that they're the only ones with anxiety, and yet it's so common and so normal, which is why I'm so excited that you're doing this series, because I think it can help a lot of people.
Good. Thank you. I'm going to introduce you so that folks know where to contact you and a little bit about your background. Jennifer Hennings helps people say yes to the next level of their careers by breaking through their fear of public speaking. As an executive public speaking coach, she trains leaders at organizations like Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, Salesforce, and Stanford Graduate School of Business, as well as numerous startups. What makes Jennifer's approach unique is she doesn't have a background in acting or theater. She doesn't naturally crave the spotlight. In fact, she's an introvert who used to throw up before speaking and teaching. Jennifer is on a mission to help others conquer their fear once and for all so they can speak up with confidence when it matters most. Jennifer holds an MA in Education and a BA in English from Stanford University and an MA in Communication Studies from San Jose State University. And I'd like to direct people to your website so that they can connect with you. And it will be www.jenniferhennings.com.
Thank you.
Thank you again. Let me take
So
this.
good to be here.
Yeah, good. I am opening up the floor to you to share anything you have around speaking and anxiety. And my thrust is about authenticity, and it feels like that's what you do too. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something that you and I both have in common. And it's why I was so excited to join you for this series, because when I learned that you too have struggled with anxiety, I think that's what makes this work so real and so important. Because, a lot of folks I know who teach public speaking have always felt comfortable in the spotlight. Sometimes they're, former stage performers or folks who've really loved being in front of a crowd, and that can be wonderful. And I am the opposite of that. I'm somebody who, as you said, I used to throw up before giving presentations, both as a kid, but then also into my professional life. And so I'm sort of the unlikely public speaking coach in that, people always assume, oh, you must have always loved this. But I'm like, no, this is never something I expected to be doing, because like you, anxiety is something that I have known and experienced very much on my own. And I think it's from that place of personal knowing of both feeling, I know what it's like to be paralyzed, right, by that fear of being in front of a crowd. And I also know how truly life transforming it can be to break through that. And I imagine, I'm guessing for you too, I feel like it gives me, my own experience gives me extra empathy as well as extra skill in helping others through their own fear, because it's like, look, if I can do it, I know you can do it, because I've seen not only how bad things were for me, but how tough it's been for so many of my clients for the past 20 years. And to see where people can get with some hard work and dedication and the right tools. I mean, it's so much transformation is possible. And so I love that we have that in common, like having that personal experience with the anxiety. And I think that, to your question of what can we do, like what's that number one tool, right, for working on the anxiety. I think for me as a public speaking coach, I'd say the number one question I get from executives, and maybe this is true for you too, is what do I do when my mind goes blank? I think that's the core of the fear for a lot of folks is we're up in front of the room, it's high stakes, it really matters, and we're worried about losing our place, blanking out, losing face or losing authority in front of people we really respect and whose opinions we value. And so I think for a lot of the folks I'm working with, that's where the fear is. It's like, what if I blank out? I don't know if you see that too, but that's, I think, the core of it for a lot of folks. And so the tip I want to share is related to what do I do if I blank out? And so the first thing I do for folks is we normalize it. It's not if I blank out, it's when I blank out, because I think we're all human, we're all fallible. Even the best speakers I know, the most accomplished folks, occasionally mess up, right? So it's going to happen. Let's accept that it's going to happen, and then let's build our toolbox so we're better equipped in that moment. And for me, what do we do to address that fear of going blank? I'm going to say something that I'm sure a lot of other coaches will say, which is that you have to practice out loud. In fact, and I want to give you a unique spin on how to do that. But what this comes from is time and time again, when I ask executive clients, hey, you've got a big talk coming up, you're feeling nervous, what are you going to do to prepare? Usually what I hear, and maybe you hear this too, are things like, oh, I'm going to flip through my notes. I'm going to scroll through my slide deck. I'm going to think about what I want to say. And I love to tell folks, look, thinking about what you're going to say, that's as effective as thinking about going to the gym, right? Like, it doesn't get us any stronger. If we want to get stronger physically, we have to go to the gym and do the reps. Or I guess these days we're not actually going to the gym. We're lifting weights at home, right? But you have to pick up the weights and do the work. And for public speaking, especially when we're nervous, the same holds true. We can't think our way to being a better speaker. We have to open our mouths and actually do the practice. And many coaches will tell you this, but here's the unique spin I want to put on that practice, which is that often when I practice with folks, here's what I see is I'll get somebody up, on a Zoom chat, let's say, and they'll be practicing the presentation and all is going fine. 2 minutes in, they mess up or they blank out. And then they go, oh, let me rewind and start over, right? Like, I wouldn't say it that way. I'll start again. And the problem is, in real life, we don't have that luxury, right? To rewind and start over. And so if we fall in that trap, when we're practicing, we're actually sort of shooting ourselves in the foot as we practice. So what I would encourage instead, what I would encourage instead is a technique I call sticking the landing. And so the way this works, so I was obsessed with Olympic gymnastics as a kid. I'm tall, I don't have the body type for it. I couldn't be a gymnast, but I loved to watch gymnasts, right? And so when you watch a gymnast compete, whether they're on the floor, the bars, the beam, the vault, doesn't matter. They flip, they twist, they fly, they land. And like, no matter how wobbly that landing is, right? They fight like hell to stick that landing and throw their arms in the air for the final salute. And as speakers, I want folks to be doing the same thing when they're practicing. So if you're rehearsing before your big talk, like you should do out loud, if you mess up or you blank out, don't stop and go, let me start again. Instead, stick that landing. You're going to stop, you're going to breathe, check your notes, don't apologize, just pause for a moment, take a breath, and then keep going. Right? And that, if we practice recovering, sticking the landing when we're in rehearsals, that way we are so much better prepared to respond with confidence and clarity and calm when our mind goes blank in real life. And you're also secretly reducing the chances that will happen, which is also nice. So that's the secret tip that I like to share with folks when they're feeling nervous and they're wondering, how do I deal with that moment of my mind going blank? I say, I want you to practice out loud, and I want you to work on sticking the landing, because then you're going to feel that much more confident, that much more ready to speak up and share your voice when it counts.
Yes, and I can just imagine myself being in an audience and somebody is able to catch themselves and stay in what you might say ease, equanimity, something like, it's just they are flowing into the moment as opposed to I guess just feeling like there's an explosion that just happened up on stage.
Right, exactly. And what you just said, it's like the audience takes their cue from you as the speaker. So if you as the speaker mess up, right, or blink out and like make a big deal out of it and go, sorry, I should have practiced more. It's like putting a neon sign on the mistake and being like, look at me, I messed up. Versus if, like you said, we respond with ease, we take a breath, we just let that moment happen, kind of act like it's no big deal. Speakers check their notes all the time, keep going. They're going to take their cue from you. If you act like it's no big deal, they're going to take it like it's no big deal. And so you get to stay calm, stay confident, and help the audience feel like they're in good hands at the same time.
The other thing I hear is that afterwards, I know a lot of people, have a lot of self-criticism. Oh, I shouldn't have, So I think that this also helps for post presentations, that they feel like I was graceful, or I stayed connected to myself and my audience, and I didn't have this major explosion, as opposed to the other way people think about themselves.
Exactly. If you can say, look, I know I set myself up for success by doing my out loud practice, by working on sticking the landing. If you mess up, if you blank out, that's actually just part of the process. Like, we can minimize it. But when it happens, knowing that you responded with grace, like you said, it's something else that you can feel good about and, and take with you as a speaker.
Yeah, just feeling like you have to me, what you're just saying is confidence. I could go through anything can happen when
Right.
I'm in front of people, and I have the confidence to move through it, and to keep on moving through it
Exactly,
and
exactly.
feel good
Keep on
about
moving through it. Yeah, like see yourself through to the other side. It's not the end of the world if we mess up,
yeah.
right? I one time saw this professional singer. She was an amazing, amazing vocalist. And she was singing, I think it was Over the Rainbow, right? Like a song you think she probably knows really well. And she gets started, and the pianist started playing, and she got about 3 bars in, and she totally froze. Like, she forgot the words. She stopped the music and she said, I'm so sorry. Let's start again. She started again, piano started again. She gets to about the same part. She messes up again. This is a professional vocalist. And we're all like, whoa, what's going on? And she goes, I'm so sorry. I'm having one of those days. I'm going to get this right for you guys. 3rd time's the charm. Please start the music again. Piano player starts again. The 3rd rendition is spectacular. Right? So it's like, here's somebody who messed up not once, but twice in front of hundreds of people, right? Doing something she's done hundreds of times before. And yet, what do I remember about her? This was like 20 years ago I saw this happen. All I remember is her grace under pressure and her determination to just keep showing up. My lingering impression wasn't, oh my gosh, who's this lady who doesn't know the words? My lingering impression is, dang, I want to be like her, right? I want that kind of grace and passion and commitment in the face of, messing up.
Yes. Great. Well, I think that this is a wonderful tip and unique way of supporting people as they practice to be not only good speakers, but to be themselves, to be comfortable with whatever happens for them anywhere, anytime. So
Absolutely.
good.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And remember, it's jenniferhennings.com, right?
Yep, that's it.
Where they can look you up. All right. Bye-bye.